Okay, welcome. I am excited to see so many people here. Since there are so many people here, I'm going to try and go through this a little faster than I initially planned so that we have time for everybody to participate in the DIY project at the end if you're interested. I have a couple of options of fun things that you can do. So, I got started with essential oils last year, and I've been interested in them for a long time, but I had never really tried using them until a friend of mine got them and gave me a sample of a lavender sleep roller, which is just a little roller bottle with lavender and a carrier oil. And I put that on before bed, and it was so relaxing and lovely that I decided to really jump in with essential oils. So I'm excited to share with you some of the things that I've learned, and I hope you will find it interesting and have fun with your DIYs at the end. So first thing is, this presentation is just for fun. For education and general interest, please do not take any of this as in place of medical advice. Do not ever stop taking medications that are necessary to your health without consulting a medical professional. And that being said, we can jump in. So, what are essential oils? Essential oils are basically, you'll often hear them called the lifeblood of the plant. It is the liquid inside different plants that when it helps the plants to protect themselves, it helps cellular regeneration within the plants when they get damaged. It regulates the processes within the plants. So it works similar to how the human blood works in our body. It helps clot, it helps keep everything circulating and regulated within our bodies. Essential oils do the same thing for the plants that they come from. There are a few different parts within the plants, oleo, resin, and gum. The essential oils are mostly drawn from the oleo, which is Latin for oil. They are fat soluble, which means that they are able to pass the blood-brain barrier in humans because it has to be able to go through the lipids barrier in your brain. And because it's fat soluble, it's able to go through. If they were water soluble, they would not be able to pass through. They also have to be extremely small to be able to pass through that barrier. There are about 40 million billion little particles, molecules within one drop of essential oil. So that gives you any idea of how small they really are. But that's really incredible because it means that one drop can do a lot for your body. They're extremely powerful. Each essential oil has approximately 100 to 300 chemical components that make up the molecules within that oil. The average is about 100. Some of them can go up to 300. So they're very complex chemical structures. They can be distilled from different parts of the plants. For example, the citrus oils will come from the rinds of the fruit. So like an orange oil will be pressed out of the rind of the orange. And same for lemon and bergamot and any of the citrus oils like that. There are other oils that come from the petals of flowers like jasmine and rose. There are other oils that come from inside the tree's bark or sap. They can come from a lot of different places, which I think is really, really neat. Oops. Pressed it twice. Okay, so the history of essential oils spans basically thousands of years. And it's super interesting, but I'm going to try and go through it pretty quickly. Arguably, the first recorded use of essential oils was from 2700 BC in China. And that is from the text of, Shinong's Herbal, which is the oldest surviving medical text that we're aware of that mentions essential oils. It contains information for the usage of 365 different plants. Shinong was a ruler in China at the time and is considered the father of Chinese herbal medicine and is kind of a cultural hero for China. The next recorded use would be around Egypt and India around the same time. India could arguably go back further, but definitely within that 2000 BC range, both in India and Egypt, essential oils were in wide usage. Egyptians tended to focus on essential oils for beauty, skincare, and hair care. All of the cosmetics used a lot of essential oils in Egypt. Perfumes of royalty were made from essential oils, and also they were often used in the temples. There are several formulas and recipes from Egypt that are still used and highly valued today, even from that time frame. In India, the focus was on the medicinal purposes. It was highly sought after in the Ayurvedic healthcare system, which is a natural healing system that blends spiritual, philosophical, and practical elements. And that is still widely popular today, even in the United States. And of course, that system of medicine includes much more than just essential oils, but they were an important part of it then and now. As early as 2000 BC, we have records of Indian doctors administering various oils such as cinnamon, ginger, myrrh, coriander, and sandalwood to their patients. Let's see, where did I jump to next? Greece, Hippocrates, probably most of you are familiar with that name. He's generally considered the father of modern medicine. He often recommended essential oils and their use aromatically. He is reported to have said that the way to health is to have an aromatic bath and scented massage every day. Which sounds pretty nice to me. I don't know about you. I would definitely be down for that. But he studied and documented the medicinal use of over 300 plants and believed strongly that it had great benefits just aromatically. In fact, he actually believed that they could combat the plague in Athens just by the aromatic use of essential oils. Then jumping forward to 1000 AD in Rome. Rome, of course, had a lot of influence from Greece. So a lot of what was done in Greece would also be done in Rome. There was a prominent Greek physician who became the doctor for the Roman army named Pedanius Dioscorides, who wrote a 5-volume reference work on herbal medicine during the 1st century AD. He had over 600 remedies in those publications, and over time they have continued to be used frequently. And now this is probably one of my favorites. In Britain, as recently as 1953, at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, she had a blend of jasmine oil, rose oil, neroli, and some others as her coronation oil, which were used to symbolize the blessing of God on her ruling. So that is a very brief overview of the history of essential oils. There is a lot more, but I don't want to spend the whole time just talking about that. So on to distillation. How do we get our oils? The most common method is through steam distillation. It is easier to do than the carbon dioxide extraction. Carbon dioxide extraction is the gentlest form of extraction for oils, but it is also extremely expensive and is a very delicate process. So most of the time, steam distillation is used, which just involves basically heating up the plants to just beyond boiling point, and then the steam will rise, and then they will catch the steam and then get the oil out of the steam. That is considered gentle enough for most essential oils. There are some that would require the carbon dioxide extraction just because they have to be so carefully done, but most you can do steam distillation. Pressing, I already mentioned with the citrus oils, and also can be from nuts. That can be from pressing as well, which obviously is much more than you would do normally with a citrus peel, but I think that's a really neat method as well. Okay, so safety is extremely important with essential oils. They are safe to use as long as you know what you're doing. As we've discussed before, they are very potent. They're very, very potent. A little bit will go a long, long way. So you do not need to use very much at all, especially if you mix it with a carrier oil. That will help spread it even further and will slow the absorption, because essential oils absorb very quickly. So by adding it to a carrier oil, it can help slow down that absorption rate, so you can spread it out over a larger part of your skin. You really want to do your research when you're talking about essential oils. Most oils can be used for a huge number of different things. And by blending them, you can come up with even more ways to use them. So you need to make sure that when you're using them the way that they're meant to be used. Quality is extremely important with essential oils, especially because they're becoming so popular today. There's very little regulation of essential oils, even if they say they're therapeutic grade or spa grade, which is supposed to be the highest purity. They can claim that without it really being true. So research the company wherever you choose to get them. Research the company, make sure that they have good reviews. If they're posting their results of third-party testing to prove their purity, that's a pretty good sign. A lot of them don't though, so just be careful with that. Even things that say they're pure oils can be highly diluted with other carrier oils and fillers. There's also the possibility of using slightly different oils than what you would think. For example, with lavender, there is a hybrid plant, lavandum, which is very similar to lavender, but it's not quite the same. And it's still an essential oil, and it can still do a lot of the things that lavender can do, but not all of them. So, for example, one use of lavender is to treat minor burns. It's extremely effective at that, but lavender is not. So for that, lavender will still be calming, and it will still be relaxing, and it can do a lot of the things that lavender can do, but not everything. So you want to make sure you're getting what you think you're getting. Price, sometimes not always, can reflect quality. Definitely not always. You can get cheaper options of oils that are still pure oils and good quality. There are certain oils that if you find them very cheaply, they are not pure. Rose and jasmine are two of those. It takes 4,500 pounds of jasmine petals to make 1 pound of oil. And rose takes even more. So those two oils, if you find them cheaply, they will not be pure. Those are expensive oils because it's very expensive to make them. Both of those flowers also have to be hand-picked the first day they bloom before the sun rises to get the best oil out of them. So imagine having to hand-pick all of those flowers at a very specific time and then have so much of it to make so little oil. So those are just expensive no matter what, unless they're diluted with something else. Lavender, on the other hand, is much easier. It takes much less to get the oil out. So that one you can find pretty cheaply, and it can still be pure and good. A lot of the citrus oils are cheaper. It's not as expensive to make them. They're widely available. There's a lot that goes into the prices, but just be careful with those. Those ones that are expensive are gonna be expensive. So the three main ways to use essential oils are aromatically, which is actually the most effective way to use them, because through breathing them in, it crosses the blood-brain barrier very quickly and then disperses through your entire body within seconds. Topically, it takes a little longer, but it's still effective. And so aromatically would be using a diffuser, just smelling it straight out of the bottle, putting it in your hands, a couple drops in your hands, and breathing in, putting it on a rag, and breathing that in. Those are how you would use it aromatically. Topically, you could put it straight on your skin. If it says you can use it neat, that means that you can put it directly on your skin without dilution. If you need to dilute it, then you would use a carrier oil with your essential oil before applying it to your skin. Different oils require different dilution. Some oils you can use without diluting them, like lavender. Some you definitely need to dilute them, like peppermint. That one is really intense. You don't want to put that on your skin without diluting it first. So as I said, neat means you can apply it undiluted, diluted, apply it after mixing with a carrier oil. A few of the carrier oils that are very popular to use are olive oil, coconut oil, in particular fractionated coconut oil, sweet almond oil, jojoba oil, avocado oil, and grapeseed oil. And those all can work. Different skin types can work better with different oils for carrier oils. If you have a hot oil, absolutely dilute it. And if you get it on your skin without diluting it, do not use water. Water will just spread the oil around. If you use a carrier oil and apply that, it will help dilute it and spread, actually make it easier to absorb and stop that hot feeling on you. Some of the most common hot oils are peppermint, as I mentioned. Wintergreen especially can be dangerous if not used properly, especially in children. Do not want to use wintergreen on children. Oregano, thieves, and cinnamon bark are some of the most prominent hot oils. Do not put essential oils in your eyes or inside your ears. It's okay to put them around your ears on the outside, but absolutely not inside, without direction of a doctor at least. If you do get it in your eyes or your ears, as I just mentioned, use a carrier oil. You can put the carrier oil around your eye, and it will help to absorb that and spread it out and take away that heat. Photosensitivity is another thing that you need to be wary of when you're using essential oils. There are certain oils that if you put them on your skin and then are exposed to direct sunlight for any length of time, really more than a few minutes, you could get a rash or a burn from them. A lot of the citrus oils are photosensitive. So that's something to be aware of. It doesn't mean you can't use them on your skin. Just, if you put it on your arm, wear a shirt with sleeves long enough to cover where you've put it on your arm if you're going to be outside for any length of time. If you're just passing through outside, you don't need to worry. But if you're going to be out for a long time, cover up. Usually 24 to 48 hours afterwards. I've never had a problem with that since I've been using them, but I know people who have. So ingestion is, you can ingest some oils. Not all oils are safe to ingest. So that's another thing to be very aware of, and that's another thing that you want to definitely think about as far as quality goes. If you're going to choose to ingest an essential oil, it is absolutely imperative that it is pure and not mixed with anything that you don't know what you're putting into your body. Some people do not feel comfortable ever ingesting oils, and of course that is perfectly fine. You can get great benefits from oils just from aromatic and topical use. You never have to ingest an oil to get benefits out of it. Some people do feel comfortable doing it, and that's fine as long as you're careful and are only using the ones that are safe. If you do your research and you come across something that is referred to as GRAS, G-R-A-S, that is generally regarded as safe for ingestion. So be aware of that. Some oils, depending on the company, will be labeled specifically for dietary use. So if it is labeled for dietary use, then you know that it's safe for that. But if it's not, be sure to make sure. The general rule of thumb is if the plant that the oil comes from is safe to ingest, then the oil will be safe to ingest, as a general rule. But still do your research always. If you are going to ingest oils, always use glass or stainless steel. So, for example, if you're adding a drop of lime oil to your water, do that in a glass bottle or a stainless steel bottle or cup. Do not use plastic, because essential oils can degrade plastic. And you do not want to drink your plastic or any chemicals that are in it. So always read the labels of your oils. Again, depending on the company that you're buying them from, what information is included on the labels may vary, but always read them because they will have important information on them. Most essential oils are also safe for children as long as they are properly diluted. The younger the child, the more dilution is necessary. So, unless it specifically says that it's safe to put directly on a child, dilute a lot. And pets also can have reactions to essential oils. There are safe uses of oils for pets. A lot of people will use them instead of store-bought flea and tick repellent. You can use oils for that. But that, again, will depend on the size of the animal, what type of animal, and you just need to do a lot of research before you use essential oils on animals. Even diffusing some oils can be unsafe for pets, particularly cats. Often citrus oils and peppermint and many of the minty kind of oils are not safe for cats, even from diffusion. The molecules can land on their fur and it can get into their skin that way. They can also lick themselves and get the oils internally that way, and it can cause a lot of health problems or even death. So be aware, if you have pets, which oils are safe for your particular type of pet. Most of the time, as long as the pet has a way out of the room that you're diffusing in, it will be okay. They'll leave if they get uncomfortable. And that can be fine. I have a cat. I typically just don't diffuse those oils unless he's outside. But other people do diffuse them around their pets, and they're fine as long as they can leave the room, but just pay attention. And if you're going to use the oils around your animals, just pay attention to your animal. You will see reactions if they're not comfortable with the oils, and then you just know, don't use that one. But generally you can find guidelines online and in books that we have at the library, and that you can order from wherever you choose to purchase books on all of those topics, of course. Okay. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's a general dilution chart for children. So whatever the oil instructs, you're going to dilute it more for children. So for example, is that better? Yeah. All right. So for 6 months to 2 years, you do 4 times dilution what is recommended on the bottle or for that particular oil.
Kristin, can we print out a copy of that if
Yes.
anybody wants it? Yeah.
Yes, I can print this for you if you would like a copy of it. And also the next chart will go on carrier oils. It's just kind of a cheat sheet for them. It talks about the different kinds of carrier oils and what's good for different skin types or different needs. And I can print that for you as well if you would like the copy. Oh, that went on. All right, so I'm going to go through a few really popular oils, and we'll talk a little bit real quickly about their usage, and then after that I will be ready to let you smell some oils and try them and make either bath salts or your own roller bottles with the oil of your choice. All right, so lavender is one of my personal favorites. I've already mentioned it several times. It is the unicorn oil. It can do almost anything. It is wonderful for diffusing, especially at bedtime, especially for children. But it is great for any time you need to just take a breath and relax. Lavender is a go-to oil for that. It can also be useful for seasonal issues. If you put it on your chest, and then you can just breathe it in during springtime when you're breathing in lots of other things that you may not be wanting to breathe. Add it to your diffuser before bed. This picture says 10 drops, but you can do less than that if you want to spread it out and make it last longer. Or apply after your skincare routine. Lavender is an excellent oil for skincare. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it can help with burns. It can help with small cuts and abrasions, bruising. Lavender is just the everything oil. It's very good for your skin. It promotes healing faster. It just kind of reminds your skin, oh, hey, yeah, I can do this. It is lovely. And, oh, lavender can also, forgot this one, lavender can also help deter mosquitoes and moths. So you can put some like on a ribbon and hang it in a window during the summer and help keep mosquitoes away. Or you could put some on, you know, a little rag and stick it in your storage to keep moths away. It's the everything oil. Frankincense is another personal favorite of mine. It is extremely grounding. It's a great oil for emotional support, especially mixed with lavender. I call frankincense and lavender my ultimate calm combo, because I can be completely stressed out, running around like a crazy person, and I get one whiff of lavender and frankincense together, and I'm like, okay, I can breathe again. It's gonna be all right. It is absolutely my favorite thing to use after a busy day or just when I'm having a bad day. It is wonderful. That combination is actually one of the things that got me kind of hooked on oils. I put it in my diffuser one night and was laying there on the couch listening to music with my lavender and frankincense going, and I thought, I haven't felt this good in a really long time. So if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend trying that combination out. Frankincense is also kind of a miracle worker for skincare. It can help reduce the appearance of fine lines and scars. It is excellent for healing and just brightening your skin, kind of giving it a natural glow. It is used in a lot of skincare products and a lot of spa treatments. Lemon oil is a very bright oil. It is wonderful with peppermint as kind of a wake you up oil in the morning. That combination, especially, either one can help with that on its own, but especially combined, it's very effective. Kind of getting you up and going and helping you focus and bring alertness. It's also very, very useful for cleaning. Lemon oil is the best thing I've used to get sticky things off of things. I use it on my counters a lot. I use it on dishes when I just can't scrub things off. I'll use it to clean the microwave. I have small children, so we end up with a lot of sticky things all over the house. Lemon is wonderful for getting all of those sticky things unstuck, unstikified, however you want to say it. It's also good for getting crowns off walls. So lemon is a good one. You can also, lemon is one that you can ingest if you have a pure oil. I like to put it in my water, just spice it up a little, change it up. I like a lot of the citrus ones in my water. I'll use lemon, grapefruit, lime. I like all of those in there. But lemon is wonderful for cleaning and for brightening up your day. can also be used with lavender and peppermint together during the spring for those seasonal issues. Peppermint is, again, as I said, with lemon, it's a wake you up oil. It'll get you going. Peppermint is also really useful for stomach issues and for head tension, headaches. You can diffuse it, you can put it in a roller bottle, diluted, and roll it on the back of your neck or on pressure points. Your wrist is always a good place to put oils when you're applying topically. But peppermint is a really good one. You can also cook with oils, as long as they're pure, once again. So peppermint can be used in a lot of fun recipes like peppermint hot chocolate. You can use peppermint oil for that. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing to make it go off. Thieves Oil. This is kind of the miracle oil. I'm sure probably if you're familiar with essential oils at all, you've probably heard the story about how Thieves Oil got its name, which the legend goes that thieves would apply this blend of oils before they went and robbed the bodies of people who had died of the plague. And it supposedly protected them from the plague. I don't know if that's actually true or not. That is the legend, at least. But Thieves Oil is a very useful oil blend for immunity support. So I know a lot of people that use it daily, that just roll it on the bottoms of their feet and along their spine, of course diluted, and they say that it has helped a lot with immunity to all these things that are going around right now, actually. You can also diffuse it it kind of smells like Christmas. It has a pretty strong clove smell. That's what I smell mostly with it, but it is a blend of several oils. You can also use it for cleaning. A lot like lemon, it will disinfect, it will get rid of all the ickies. The only thing with cleaning with essential oils is to be careful with countertops. Depending on the type of finish you have on your countertop, it can degrade that finish. So do some research on that before you use it, thieves or lemon or any kind of oils, to make sure that the finish on your counters is safe for use with oils and it won't break it up. Because you definitely don't want to do that. All right, one more. Stress Away. This is a blend from a particular company that is lovely, and it does exactly what its name says. It just takes your stress away. It's very nice, combination of lime and vanilla, which I would never personally have thought to put together, and I thought that sounded very strange, but then I smelled it and I was like, oh, yeah, that works. It's really nice. And that is one of the oils that I have for you to use today if you would like. You can use it in bath salts. If you mix the oil into the bath salts, it's not going to leave too much oil on your bathtub. Check after you use it and make sure you don't need to clean it. But most of the time I've found that as long as I don't use too much oil in the bath salts, it does not have to be cleaned immediately after use. But Stress Away is a really nice blend to just relax, take a breather from our hectic lives, as most of us are always running around busy, and it's important to take time to take care of yourself. Let's see, so you can blend oils yourself, or you can, depending on the company, Most companies have lots and lots of different pre-blended oils that you can buy. And so if you're not comfortable blending them yourself, you can always just pick the company of your choice, find a blend that looks good to you, and try it that way. But you can also just get the individual oils and blend them yourself. Blending is kind of an art. You can do so much with it, but again, you just need to know what oils you're using, what they're good for, what you're trying to do with your blend, and then pick the right oils to combine to do what you're wanting it to do. And you always use glass or stainless steel again when you're blending with oils as well, because you don't want to degrade that plastic and pull anything out and then have that in your blend as well. All right, so that is it for now. Do you have, yes ma'am?
Have you done any research on wild oregano oil as an antiviral? I mean, I've used it as an antiviral. And also I've used rosemary oil with a carrier as a topical. I did some research on that as an anti-inflammatory.
I haven't done a lot of research on it, but I have heard of them being used in that way. And from what I've heard, it has been highly effective for the people that
I've used both.
Used it, yeah.
And I'm going to say I went to Cook's, and they have oregano, which is, and I did research on it, but they have different levels of the wild oregano oil, from more moderate to a very potent, but you generally take it sublingually, so it goes in very quickly. And so I was just wondering if you've done any research, but that, I mean, I would recommend people do research on those two specifically.
Yes.
They're quite medicinal.
They are, and they have a lot of different uses as well. I've also heard of rosemary and use for hair loss. Putting it into your shampoo and using that is supposed to help your hair grow thicker and stronger. Now, I haven't tried that. I don't need to. My hair's too thick. But I have heard of that also for rosemary. It's fascinating just how much each oil can do. I mean, they can do so many things that are completely unrelated to each other and be very effective at all of the different uses. Any other questions before you get to play with the oils? No? Okay, well, I'm going to break out the oils over here and bring some around and